As consumers, whether you believe in Ayurveda or allopathy or are in somewhere in between, irrespective of that, it is hugely important to follow what's been happening in the courts, particularly vis-a-vis Patanjali Ayurved, and what gradually seems to be unfolding, at least with how the court is responding. Shoddy implementation of rules on the ground, with the court pointing towards the lapses. The Supreme Court yet again on Tuesday came down heavily on Yoga Guru Ramdev's Patanjali Ayurved and its managing director Acharya Balakrishna for violating the court's order against misleading advertisements of its products. And mark my words, I say yet again, because the Supreme Court has been hearing the case for more than a year now. From restraining Patanjali orally, from putting out misleading advertisements according to the media reports, the court also received an anonymous complaint of Patanjali against Patanjali. This was in January. And the anonymous complaint gave proof of Patanjali continuing to claim that its products are quote-unquote more effective than chemical-based synthetic medicines of allopathy, leading to the latest backlash by the topmost court of India. And in fact, Patanjali has been restrained from advertising its medicinal products for now. This also yet again. And it also had very strong observations against the central government. The court, in fact, tore into the government, saying the entire country has been taken on for a ride. You shut your eyes. 2 years you wait for this important thing. When Drug Act itself says it is prohibited, mark the words of the topmost court of this country. What is this case about? The bench of Justices Hima Kohli and Asanuddin Amanullah was hearing a petition filed by the IMA in 2022 that sought for action and campaigns to promote the Ayush system by criticizing, disparaging the allopathic system. Remember, in 2023, Patanjali had given in written assurances to the court of not making any casual statements claiming medical efficacy or against any system of medicine to be released to the media. This was a written assurance given by Patanjali. A day after that, they actually went and did a press conference. They held a media briefing and they told the media in public that they will not be doing something like this. But this has now been challenged before the court. The IMA has contended that despite the Ministry of Ayush signing a memorandum of understanding with a board that looks into advertisements, particularly from the medical realm, for monitoring misleading advertisements, Ramdev continues to flout norms. The IMA has taken on Patanjali, alleging continuous, systemic misinformation. Speaks of instances where Ramdev has shunned allopathy as stupid. And I'm quoting this. I'm quoting what IMA has claimed. The IMA has claimed that the advertisements are a direct violation of Drugs and Other Magical Remedies Act 1954, or also referred to as DOMA. Now, what is this Drugs and Magic Remedies Act 1954? I will not be surprised if many of our viewers are possibly listening to this for the first time, but this is hugely important for us to understand. We need to try and understand who is responsible for protecting us against false claims and advertisements made by whichever section of medicine. In this particular case, it is Patanjali. Tomorrow it could be anybody else. What do we do? Who do we go to? Now, this act is an act of the Parliament of India which controls the advertising of drugs in India. It prohibits advertisements of drugs and remedies that claim to have quote-unquote magical properties and makes doing so a cognizable offense. There are strong punishments in this act which is mentioned out. It is also alleged that these Patanjali advertisements violates the Consumer Protection Act in 2019. Now there are clauses even within this with strong repercussions. These are punishable offences against these acts, at least in paper. And that's what the court says. All of this seems to violate what's on paper. And that's why the strong rap not only against Patanjali in this case, but also the central government.